Cappadocia is one of the most magical places I've ever visited. Hot air balloons floating at sunrise, this area in central Turkey is full of unforgettable moments. Today I will be sharing what it's really like to visit this unique region as a solo traveler. I'll share my cave hotel and give you my first impressions of the town of Göreme. This was a bucket list trip, squeezed in between two cruises, one of which was unexpectedly canceled. So I decided to use the extra time to do something totally different, something I've always dreamed of doing, exploring Cappadocia on my own. Hi, it's Bonnie from Voyage, Cruise and Travel, and while I normally take you along on cruise ships, today we're exploring one of my favorite land-based detours. With over 51 cruises and traveling to more than 72 countries, I love to share unique, affordable, and enriching experiences, especially for solo travelers like myself. How do you get to Cappadocia? First, I left from Heathrow in London. I went to Istanbul, changed planes, had a layover, ended up in Nevşehir Airport, and then on to Goreme. Landing at an airport that felt like stepping back in time. There were just two gates and an old-fashioned vibe. I felt almost like the 1950s. So teeny. All right, so this is it. I had pre-booked my transfer through the hotel for about 19 euros, and there was a minivan waiting for me in front. They accepted cash only. The ride to the town of Göreme took about 50 minutes. My cave hotel was perched high up on a hill. Secret Hill Cave Suites. It was a small family-run hotel. Each room was unique. It was charming, and I have to say it definitely was not for anyone with mobility issues. It was straight up a hill. You can't see it from here, but I'm way at the very top. I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. Wow, what a place. Really nice. There were steep stairs, narrow paths, and no elevator, but the view, it was worth every step. I could see the hot air balloons every morning right from my balcony. It was amazing. Wow, they're like really close. I don't know, that would make me a little nervous. We didn't go quite that close yesterday. I like it up here because it's peaceful, and there's a good amount of people here, but everyone's so spread out you don't see anyone. And we all kind of have our own little terrace. What a nice place. How did I land this? I booked it on booking.com and it said something like a pigeon room, and I was more interested in the view. I just walked in, so I'm a little bit overwhelmed. He asked me, how did I pick this room? This is one of the best rooms they have. Anyway, so this is about an hour, it's an hour 15 from Istanbul. And I would say the plane was very full. Miss your animals. It's just so funny. This cat came up and greeted me the minute I got here. Look at it, it's at my window. I can't tell you, this is pretty incredible. Hello, kitty. Oh my goodness. I think this is my cat for the duration. Oh, he's cute. This is the bathroom. So it has a shower and a jacuzzi. Everything's owls. I think it's good luck. This is the breakfast is served out over there. Cats and dogs wandered freely, and I was greeted every day by a black cat who thought he owned my room, and two dogs that lived on the property escorting me up and down the hills every day as I walked. This one greeted me and walked all the way up the hill with me, and they're just having fun. There's so many animals here. It's so funny. The nearby shops sold cat treats for the cats that were in the area. There are many cats, and it really added to the charm. Every morning around 6:30, dozens of hot air balloons would launch into the sky. I didn't even have to leave my room to catch the view. I just stepped out onto the balcony. I loved looking at the colors, the peaceful drifting, the sunrise, and most days it was sunny. There were a few overcast days as well, but Cappadocia really does live up to its magical reputation. But we are way up here, so whenever I go downtown, I have to walk down a hill and then I have to walk up a hill to get back. It's really a cool place. It's unreal. So people really lived in these places a long time ago. It's winter now, so it's a little cold, but this is the pool area. It's a nice little area. I imagine in the summer when it's super hot, this is really nice. Because a lot of the other hotels are just in the city part. So, and if you walk this trail here, it goes up. Somehow it goes up to the top there. It looks like it kind of goes down and then around some rocks this way. I haven't walked it, but I almost did this morning. It just was so cold. It was 31 degrees. It was quite a selection for breakfast. It had everything you could imagine and cooked to order omelets. I really did enjoy that. That was really a highlight of the stay. I mean, everything's so nice. The breakfasts are great. And here's my view. So I have 3 nights here. I booked excursions ahead of time on Voyage because I wanted to make sure I got the most of my time here. But the flights are not expensive from Istanbul, so if you can ever make it here and you're able-bodied, it's really amazing. I came from London to Istanbul and then I had a 4-hour layover. So that was kind of rough because it was a middle of the night flight. But as far as that goes, that was the only hard part. The rest of it went smooth. I noticed that everybody here is selling tours. Like all the hotels are selling tours, and everyone's in competition to sell these same tours. So the Whirling Dervishes was an interesting show. I mean, I paid for the transportation from my hotel. It wasn't actually at my hotel, but it was just next door to it, so that was fine. It was a bit out of town, so for that, and then the show, and then the whole idea of what was happening there. It's very interesting. I'm glad I saw that. It was an inexpensive tour. It ran me, I think, around $30. And I got that through Voyage. So today I did the spa, the Turkish bath. That was really fun. And then I also did this Whirling Dervishes. So I've done a lot in the last 24 hours. I just happened to book all this ahead of time because I knew I had limited time and I kind of wanted to have a plan in mind of what I was doing. But tomorrow I have a hot air balloon ride that I booked months ago. Goreme felt like a small, welcoming town with a youthful vibe. A lot of souvenir shops. I'm walking just a straight path from my hotel and I've run into probably about 15. And a lot of them sell the same things. So they're saying you shouldn't buy at the first place, just kind of look around a bit. It says Ellis Haman bath, that's where I went for my Turkish bath. But my hotel is way that way, so it's on the other end of this. And it's walkable. I mean, it's fun to just kind of stroll. There's lots of things, a lot of duplicate things for sale. I don't know how I found this. I walked in a complete circle. I walked from over here. There's so many cave suite hotels and they all have different names. So I started out over here and I thought I had to go up the hill and I thought that didn't look right because I just came from right over this way. So then I went down here and then all the way around and then I was over there and I thought, I know it's right by here somewhere. The town of Göreme is small and walkable, but don't expect clearly marked street signs. I had to ask directions a few times, but it added to the charm. I used an eSIM to navigate on my phone, which helped, but often I found my way just by wandering. Some roads are dusty or unpaved, and that adds to the town's rustic appeal. My hotel was just a 5-minute walk from the main road, so it made it easy to reach restaurants and shops. There's lots of really nice restaurants. You just walk around. So all kinds of kebabs and things. So they're everywhere here. Just kind of have to look around. This is a cute coffee place. It's right on the corner, called the Coffee House. I'm trying a Spanish latte, which has coffee, espresso, honey, and milk. It's a little sweet. It's really good. One of the restaurants I visited had live music and delicious lentil soup, so I had that for a perfect meal on a cool November evening. It was about 35 degrees. So this is fun. We sit at the corner, but you see like lots of people walking around. It feels almost like a college town. It's like a diner. It's called this. Most places took credit cards. There was an ATM downtown, and I never felt unsafe walking around even at dusk. Soup was so good, I ordered a second bowl. I never do that, but it just hits the spot because it's kind of cold out. The food in Goreme was delicious. Lentil soup was on every menu, and I treated myself to a lovely 3-course dinner at Pumpkin Restaurant, a local favorite. It's reservations recommended. I was lucky enough to get a spot when I arrived as the doors opened. I loved the wood interior, candles, friendly guests, and even the house cat made it feel like a special night out, even for solo travelers. There's cats everywhere. I read that this is really good, so I think I'm going to try that. I had a mezza plate, lentil soup, vegetarian cannoli with squash. It's stuffed with vegetables and rice, some apple tea and baklava, and it was all for about $22. It was really delicious. Would I return to Cappadocia? Absolutely. This region is perfect for anyone who appreciates natural beauty, dramatic landscapes, and a cultural experience. You'll want to enjoy walking, be okay with a little bit of dust and uneven streets, and be curious enough to explore. Tours are small and easy to join. Mine had 6 to 8 people, and the afternoon long tours, lunch was included, which made solo travel feel real easy. And so whether you're gazing at the ferry chimneys or sipping tea somewhere, Cappadocia is a place that stays with you for sure. There is so much more to share, and I'm saving those experiences for part 2, so make sure you subscribe and join me again here at Bon Voyage Cruise Travel. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have found this helpful, enjoyable, or you've learned something, please make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe for more helpful tips and travel information. Happy travels, and until next time. Wow, they're like really close.